Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there this morning and having a fantastic start to your day and a great week out there so far. Here to give you some update information on what's going to happen weather-wise for your Thursday. We'll extend this a little bit into your Friday and Saturday also. We'll break it all down, get very detailed. The big topic in this morning's video is going to be a powerful storm system that is already entering areas of the western U.S., the Pacific Northwest, especially right now. Snowing like crazy in the Sierra Nevada, Olympic Mountains, even the coastal range, a little bit tucked in more to the western sections of Oregon and Washington State are starting to get hit with snow too, because the snow levels are actually dropping right now as I speak, as a cold front has moved through the area and more cold air has basically filtered into these areas. So we'll speak on a lot of details on that. We'll show you some individual graphics from the National Weather Service, and then we'll speak on a little rain, well, a lot of rain. It's depending on where you live in areas of Texas and the south central U.S., and then we'll talk about some lake effect snows flying around across areas of the Great Lakes region in the interior Northeast. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. I just want to say thank you all for praying for me, as I've been sick over the last 24 hours. I feel almost 100% this morning, but if I trip up with some words or just have to take a deep breath in the middle of the video, throat's still bothering me just a little bit. But thank you all for the prayers for feeling better. Whatever it is, was very fleeting, didn't last long, so thank you all for that. So if you guys got anything I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below so I can pray over it, and many others have an opportunity to do so too. So let's get rocking and rolling. As you can tell, there's a lot of moisture across Texas. Snow flying around because of this cutoff low bringing its own cold air. So we do have some wet snow flying around across areas of like eastern New Mexico, western Texas. Lake effect snows with a shot of pretty cold air has moved over the Great Lakes region. So here we are, the last day of February, getting lake effect snow because hardly any of the Great Lakes are froze over. If they are, it's just little very small sections, but just has not been a super cold winter really anywhere out here. If it has been cold in your area, it lasted for all of a week. It pretty much, winter came all in 1 week, just like it did last winter back in December of 2022. So, but lake effect snows are flying around across the Great Lakes region, and then here's our powerful system has already moved into the Pacific Northwest in the form of higher elevation snow, lower elevation rain, and a lot of strong winds are with it. So that's what's going on right now. There goes the leftovers of, of our system that just plagued the entire country with severe weather and snow and a pretty powerful cold front as it continues to pretty much affect areas of Atlantic Canada. Storm Prediction Center today, we got a general risk of thunderstorms in areas of the deep south and south central U.S. So, we might get a bump up to a marginal risk in Louisiana today. We might, but we're really lacking ingredients for severe weather. But we could definitely get some thunderstorms, especially later on tonight in like Louisiana. Could get some thunderstorms, might even get some thunder snow, depending on your elevation, if it's falling as snow, obviously. But some thunderstorms are possible right up against the Oregon and Washington coastline and Northern California coastline. Maybe some thunderstorms are possible around Boise and this area right here of Idaho. Very small section of Montana also. But continue to move forward. Excessive rainfall outlook, they're not that concerned about flash flooding today. Just a marginal risk right up against the Oregon coastline, California coastline, and then also some of the valley regions of California could have a risk for some flash flooding today. Watches, warnings, and advisories. We got some winter weather advisories continuing up for the eastern UP and Michigan. We do have some lake effect snow warnings that you're not seeing on the map. For whatever reason, Pivotal Weather never puts them up here. But there's winter weather advisories surrounding those lake effect snow warnings up here in a few counties in New York State. And we got wind advisories that are continuing up here for southern New England and interior sections of New England. But most of our alerts are out west, where we have high wind watches in this brown color, high wind warnings in this mustard color, winter storm warnings in the pink, and this is blizzard warnings in this red color, guys. Winter weather advisories up for some of these coastal ranges here in areas of Oregon. And then we have a lot of winter weather alerts in Idaho and even in, not a whole lot in Montana, but there's some winter weather advisories. But we do have a lot of high wind warnings up for these areas in western Montana. And even some winter storm watches up, winter storm warnings up for the northern sections and the higher elevations of Utah. So a lot of weather ongoing out here, strong winds, winter weather, rain, just a lot. So Tropical Tidbits is down, so we're going to have to look at the Weather Bell version. Typically, I like to look at Tropical Tidbits when it comes to kind of zooming into these forecast regions in this portion of the morning videos. But we're going to have to look at Weather Bell. But the common theme for the Southeast today, it's pretty quiet all the way through this afternoon. We'll start to get some light shower activity potentially for like northern sections of Florida. And then rain will begin to develop and overspread Arkansas as we're getting into this evening. It's around 9 to 10 p.m. Scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms are possible. Some rain starts to move. Even some shower activity begins to move into like Alabama. We take it all the way to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning. Look at these thunderstorms down here in the Bayou of Louisiana. Even some thunderstorms down here, like near Gulfport. Some storms are possible around like Hattiesburg, Jackson, Mississippi. The northern half of Mississippi, though, this will be more so just rain. But, as we're getting into our Friday morning, sun's coming up, an area of rain will begin to take over a good section of the middle of Tennessee, getting into the Carolinas, northern sections of Georgia, and it's raining like crazy down here for the deep south. So if we extend this all the way out until about our midday Friday, raining like crazy, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a severe weather threat down here along the extreme coastal regions of the Gulf coastline of like Mississippi, Alabama, maybe even into the western panhandle of Florida. These storms look quite intense just off the coastline down here. Could get a wintry mix 4,000 or 5,000 feet up in these higher elevations of the mountains of like North Carolina. It's very possible sometime tomorrow afternoon, but it'll be very brief. And then we kind of keep this going all the way into our Friday evening. It's still raining pretty good along the Gulf coastline. And we extend this all the way into the middle of the night, Friday night. Most of the heaviest rain begins to move and take over most of North Carolina and get into the mid-Atlantic and Virginia and West Virginia. So rainfall between now and the next 48 hours, we'll extend it out. A good inch and a half of rain down here in southeast Louisiana, southern sections of Mississippi, and the heart of Alabama right in here. A good 1 to 1.5 inches of rain. Atlanta could get a good inch of rain. We'll kind of move up into the Carolinas and areas of Virginia. And, areas of like North Georgia could get a good inch, inch and a quarter. Coastal regions of the Carolinas, 1.5 inches. Maybe somebody could squeeze in 2 inches of rain, but certainly a pretty decent washout. The stage is being set for a washout for our Friday for sure in the Carolinas. So go on and expect that. A little bit of winter weather is possible up in those higher elevations, maybe a dusting, maybe a glaze of ice too. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised we get some winter weather advisories for a glaze of ice in these areas, depending on where you are in certain favored areas or favor in this kind of setup in the mountains of North Carolina. So, there could be a little bit of a glaze of ice. It's very possible. We move up to the northeast. The only thing to really speak on, honestly, is some gusty winds, but it's these lake effect snow streamers right in here. We're getting hit with one around the Syracuse region right now, but this will be the common theme. Now, we will get some sort of, kind of streamers of snow that will move into the state of Maine. We'll even have the potential of some snow showers all the way into Boston. The model guidance has really dropped off for like New York City. Remember we were talking about in yesterday morning's video, we could get some snow showers in like New York City today. Model guidance really dropped off with that overnight, but could get some snow showers all the way into Boston, southern New England today, and we'll continue to get this lake effect snow all the way until tonight, and I think it begins to let up as we are waking up tomorrow morning. But, just taking a closer look at some of the snowfall forecasts in these areas, Fulton, still could get another 8 to 12 inches of snow. Some of this has already fell, though. This is kind of the entire total of this event, and the snow is falling right now. Rochester, 2 to 3 inches of snow. Some of this has already fell, most likely. But, the Tuck Hill Plateau, probably not a lot from this, but, you certainly could get some snow if you haven't already. But if you notice right here, Syracuse, the totals have kind of dropped off. The northern sections of Syracuse could get a lot more snow than the southern sections of Syracuse. They're going for around 4 to 6 inches of snow, but you head on up the road, you got the potential for 12 to 18 inches of snow. And if we look at the radar right now of this region, the snow band is really starting to move into Syracuse, but if you kind of zoom into this region, it looks like it's really slamming the North Syracuse region up here to Clay and these regions right in here. So we'll see how much this pivots down and maybe south of the Syracuse region as we start to work our way later into the morning hours. So a little bit of a more kind of zoomed out look at this As you can tell, this is a really isolated snow event. The lake effect snow band going to pivot around kind of the same areas. You know, the Adirondacks not going to get much at all. So very isolated regions right into here that's going to get some heavy snow. South central U.S., we're dealing with some snow. We're dealing with some rain. This is going to be a raw day. There's still some dry air kind of in place, allowing for the wet bulb temperatures to be pretty low from this cold front to just swept through. But for a lot of areas, this is going to be a cold, chilly rain. But, you know, as we get to about midday, we could get a burst of heavy, wet snow in Amarillo. It's very possible. And some areas are already seeing it in some of these western counties of it, kind of in the western counties of the Panhandle or southwest Panhandle of Texas, and certainly eastern New Mexico. But as we continue to move this forward, you know, it shows maybe a wintry mix in the western counties of Oklahoma later this afternoon. It's very possible. And then just rain, and a chilly rain most likely, for central and eastern Oklahoma. And we're getting the rain showers that are pretty much taking over all of eastern Texas. And they will continue to move into Arkansas, Louisiana. We've already kind of talked about these areas, but you'll continue to get a feed of moisture into southeast Texas throughout the overnight hours, all the way into tomorrow morning. And then that's when we have a chance for some thunderstorms as we are waking up for our Friday morning in these areas. So, you know, let me know what you're seeing in this area. The National Weather Service going for, you know, somebody could squeeze in a quick inch of rain. Sometimes these kind of systems will surprise you guys. So let me know what you're seeing in this area. If we kind of look at the radar out of this region right now, you know, the radar says it's snowing pretty good in this area. If it'll pop up for us, you know, any time would be nice. There we go. So, you know, could be a convective element to this. Let me know what you're seeing in these kind of western Texas towns, that's for sure. So, if we look at rainfall from this event, not a whole lot, guys. We really need some rain up here in the Panhandle, as with those wildfires that, you know, did some devastating damage in certain areas, like in the town of Canadian, Texas. So I hope you guys are faring well out there this morning. But I know a lot of damage has already been done. Great Lakes region, we're going to continue to deal with these lake effect snow streamers. We get into about midday, it's still snowing, maybe another burst of snow for the central UP. I think for most of lower Michigan, you're not going to get a whole lot, but I think this snow will begin to taper off later this evening, and then we'll pretty much be done with it. But, you know, how much more additional snow could you get? Maybe a couple inches in the extreme eastern UP in Michigan, not a whole lot. And then we look at our friends here in the north central U.S., the Dakotas. Could get some snow showers in the far northern counties of Minnesota. It's very possible. I think someone told me they got about 5 inches of snow in an area that they live in North Dakota. So thanks for the report up there, buddy. Appreciate that. It's always good to know people are tuning in from North Dakota. I know the further out west we get, probably the less of an audience that I have. So it's always cool when you guys let me know when you're tuning in. But pretty quiet conditions in the north central U.S. Not a whole lot going on. Now out west, it's a different story. So we'll focus primarily on this right into here. As you can tell, watch how some of the greens and yellows switches to dark blues. That's because the snow levels are dropping and we continue to make our way. You can actually see where the cold front is. It's right into here. And it actually could be associated with a line of thunderstorms down here in the northern coastline, kind of north of the San Fran area of California. But of course, we're going to continue to get some higher elevation snow up here in like, you know, eastern Washington state and like northwestern Montana and areas of Idaho. But really the big storyline is this right into here. As this cold front moves in and through, cold air behind it allows for these snow levels to drop. And as we are getting into this afternoon, this is starting to get into later this afternoon, we start to get this convective feed, you know, off the Pacific Ocean that moves inland to the western U.S., and some of these bursts of snow will bring blizzard-like conditions in these areas. And then this is when it starts to go downhill for the Sierra Nevada. As we're getting more into our Friday, the snow really starts to fly around in the northern Sierra and central Sierra Nevada. And then just the northern ranges of California, the Oregon Cascades. It starts to let up a little bit in the Washington Cascades, but it's still snowing in certain areas. But, I mean, this continues, guys. We'll take it all the way out into about the middle of the night, Friday night. Actually, this is probably like late evening Friday out west. But check out some of this snow starting to break loose into the central Rockies, and it's snowing like crazy at this point. I'm talking about, like, folks, like 4 to 6 inches per hour rate. 4 to 6 inch per hour rates in some of these areas is definitely likely, which isn't totally rare for you guys, but still pretty crazy conditions out here. So we'll only extend this out to about the middle of the night Friday, but I mean, you still got rounds. It's indicating right here, I don't think this is actually happening, but there's enough cold air where it's actually showing it's snowing over the Pacific Ocean. So I don't know. I guess we're not out over the Pacific Ocean. We don't know if this is happening or not, but it really shows you the cold air kind of involved with this setup. But we kind of keep this going, right? This is snowfall at a very broad look, and we're going to zoom into some of these regions. Very broad look, and a lot of this area right in here is going to fall kind of later in this period, like once we get more into kind of Friday onward. But, I mean, especially in this too, right in here. But this is snowfall between now and Sunday morning. The colors are maxed out down here in the higher elevations of Northern California, even the Cascades and the Sierra Nevada. I mean, they are maxed out. So, but, I mean, you're going to pick up a lot of snow in the Northern Rockies, the Central Rockies also. But, man, just look at that. I mean, it's completely maxed out. Several feet of snow, folks. I mean, somebody might get like 100 inches of snow. We'll see what happens. The Olympic Mountain's going to get hit hard. They're already getting hit hard right now. So, you know, we zoom into some of these individual graphics, right? And I'm not going to read it word for word, but they do have some pretty good graphics here. This is the National Weather Service out of Seattle, and it kind of zooms into the Olympic Mountains here. Here's the Washington Cascades, and, you know, it might be kind of hard to see on your screen, but, you know, obviously there isn't probably towns in the most highest elevations. You know, there's not a full-blown town, you know, probably 12, 14,000 feet up in most cases. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of areas that are going to get slammed with feet of snow. And it says Olympic Mountains anywhere from 1 to 2 feet of snow. The Cascades anywhere from 1 to 4 feet of snow. Okay, so strong wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. So, yeah, it's a big storm, guys. We head on down the road a little bit to the National Weather Service in Portland, and this is what they're talking about, you know, and I'm not well-versed with all the locations out here. I know y'all call this kind of just the coastal range, but this is the most impressive thing to me is look how much snow is expected for the coastal range as the snow levels are dropping. It's already starting to snow in these areas right now, but of course, you know, there was that Verninia, 2.5 inches of snow. Swift Reservoir, over a foot of snow. You know, I don't know how common it is for some of these areas to get snow, like Detroit. You know, I would wonder if 8 inches of snow is a lot of snow. I don't know what elevation you sit on without a quick Google search. But, you know, it looks like Salem, not going to get anything. Eugene, as of now, it doesn't look like the snow levels are going to drop that low, but pretty low. And this is snowfall between now and around 4 a.m. local time, March the 2nd. So there's still going to be more snow to come after this. Okay? And we kind of continue to move. This is the graphic out of Medford. So stop it right here if you need to. But, you know, it kind of discusses a beautiful timeline for us here. And rapid drop in snow level tonight into Thursday from 5,000 feet to around 15 to 2,500 feet through Thursday a.m. So snow levels are going to drop when this cold air filters in behind this cold front. And then Thursday p.m. to Friday, another front brings moderate precipitation and gusty winds. Snow levels between 1,500 and 2,000 feet. So, you know, out here, out west, you really got to know your elevation. I'm sure a lot of people do. I'm sure it's a lot more important to know that out west than it is maybe in other areas of the country that aren't really living in the mountains. But it's pretty wild, guys. And then Friday p.m. to this weekend, light to moderate precipitation continues. Snow levels lower down to mini valley floors, 500 to 1,000 feet, folks. So it's pretty wild. They're really going to lower in some of these areas. And you kind of look, there's another graphic right into here. I'll kind of, if you need to stop the screen, you know, certainly stop it. And yeah, strong winds. Let's take a look at that. These are max wind gusts between now through Friday morning. So windy conditions coming. Of course, not as windy in the valley regions, but certainly, yeah, going to get hit hard in these regions. And, you know, you look in some of these areas right into here, they're calling for about 1 to 2 inches of snow in Medford. This is an area that typically doesn't get snow when everybody around them is getting snow. But this really tells you, and this extends into Northern California. And this is between now and 4 a.m. March the 3rd, okay? As a lot of these lower elevation areas are going to get a lot of snow too. They typically might not maybe get as much. Crater Lake going for, you know, over 48 inches of snow. That's over 4 feet of snow, guys. So a lot of snow in these areas. I mean, Northern California is going to get hit hard. And then we kind of go down to the National Weather Service out of Sacramento. They got some awesome graphics too. And they kind of explain the timeline of the snow levels dropping in this area too. So Thursday, the cold front really hasn't moved in. So snow levels are way up there, 4,500 to 5,500 feet. And then they drop around Friday to 2,000 to 4,000 feet. Saturday, 1,000 to 2,500 feet. And then Sunday, snow levels could potentially be as low as 1,000 to 1,500 feet. So that's after the cold air filters in. So pretty wild stuff, guys. You look at the snowfall forecast, it's very fuzzy in this area, but I think that's Alder Springs, 12 to 18 inches of snow. Weaverville, 12 to 18 inches of snow. Bernie, 6 to 8 inches. Quincy, 24 inches. And this is between now and March the 3rd. So pretty good graphic there. Precipitation wise, for areas that are just going to get flat out rain, some of this will be rain. So it kind of discusses an even better timeline, just kind of straight to the point here, the snow levels here in California, right into here. So, and then you take a look at who has blizzard warnings, who has winter storm warnings. Here's a zoomed in area right into here, and another great graphic. 5 to 10 feet above 5,000 feet, guys. 1 to 4 feet above 3,000 feet. Lighter accumulations down to 2,000 feet. Wind gust over 65 miles per hour, guys. So this is a big deal. This is probably your biggest storm of the season. And then we head on down the road a little bit more. We go down to the National Weather Service in Hanford. And, it basically says, and this was updated kind of last night, snowfall 5 to 8 feet above 6,000 feet in these areas. And it discusses the timeline, kind of running out of steam, guys. My throat is screaming at me like, dude, chill out. You're talking way too much. But here's another graphic right in here. Just pause the screen if you need to. And, this kind of discusses, it's what you call the Winter Storm Severity Index. I think it's a pretty cool graphic, but of course it's hard to really tell who's getting it. But in general, you got to get into the Sierra Nevada before you start to get extreme impacts. But definitely a lot of snow. And, you take a look. This is just between now and 4 a.m. Sunday. The storm ain't even done. What's that? Lodgepole, 46 to 69 inches, guys. Yosemite Valley, was that 38 to 64 inches. So, man, this is a lot, guys. It's a lot. And then you look at the winds, guys, and this is the last thing we'll look at for the western U.S. This is maximum wind gusts between now and Saturday evening. The winds are going to be the most intense down here in southern Oregon. I mean, certain areas in like southwestern Oregon, guys, will gust to 60 to 70 miles per hour. Southeastern Oregon, I'm sorry. So very strong winds. And then we head on down here to, let's go down here to, the southwest. These are winds. Let's see if we got a better graphic. No, we don't. So these are winds just between now and Saturday evening, guys. Some areas in the Sierra Nevada, folks, are going to gust to 80 to 100 miles per hour. But look at Nevada, even in the lower elevations, guys. I mean, very windy conditions, scattered 40 to 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts throughout the state of Nevada. Very windy. Not as windy in the valley regions of California. Very windy conditions setting up for this weekend for Utah. And then we head on up the road a little bit. And let's just take a look at the Rockies in general. Very windy conditions for everybody across the Rockies. A very windy weekend as this powerful storm system moves in. So I hope that update helped you guys. We'll try to do better in the future, but just wanted to show you those graphics and the areas that are going to get hit the hardest. So only area really in the central and eastern U.S. Now, it's going to be a lot of areas above average temperature-wise, but the only area I would say is going to be warm is central to southern Florida. Going to have a pocket of colder air with this precipitation in western Oklahoma and Texas, and you're still locked in the freezer up here in the northeast, but nothing too crazy that you guys can't handle. But I mean, it's going to be pretty cold. Some areas won't get out the single digits for high temperatures. So a chilly day across the Midwest and Ohio Valley, but 50s is not bad at all for the last day of February for Midwest standards. But this is well above average. You're climbing. Someone's probably going to hit 70 degrees in the high plains here. Very warm, well into the 60s. And cold front is moving in and really dropping these temperatures. So below average temperatures starting to move into areas of the Pacific Northwest. But at this point, this cold front has not moved in down here yet, but it's on the way. So sorry about the messiness with that, guys. Just trying to recover being over sick, but I'll probably be 100% by the time we do our next video. God bless all y'all. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.